Hoo, hoo, hoo. I'm a hillbilly. Hi guys, welcome back to Just Carve Rob, and this is our spirit fish thing so far. What do you think? Look, he's got teeth. Teeth! Ow! Why you bite me, Mr. Spirit Fish? Look like a worm. Ha ha! So that's what he's looking like, guys. Guess what we get to do today? See all these fargan scales? Yeah. We got to cut all these doggone scales in on this guy today. So that ought to be a hoot, right? So we are going to be using our SCM high-speed air tool with the pointy bit. The pointy bit. And we're going to trace all of these scales with this thing. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing today, guys. Yep. Clean a little of that burnt stuff off from there. This is a finishing bit. Okay, then after we get done with this tool to undercut these, I think we're going to try using our low-speed air tool because our grain is running this way. I made it run that way because of the fins. I didn't want them to snap off. If it was running this way, it'd be a lot easier for them to break off. So either way you go, you're going to run into issues, right? So, yeah, we'll try using our low speed. I don't know, because a knife just does not want to work on this cedar. This is cedar. You say, Rob, you don't like cedar so much. Why are you carving it? Because this was the biggest piece of carvable wood I had laying around to make this fish. So, on the upside, it's very good cedar. It has carved very well, hasn't chipped out on me or anything, which is very unusual for me in cedar. You know, I'm always, whenever I carve cedar, I kind of complain a little bit about it, but, yeah. So that's what we got. That's what we're using. That's what we're doing. So we will try using the low speed carver on these scales. And if it doesn't work the way I want to, then we may go back to our high speed with a flame burr in it, or we may try using our Dremel with a flame burr. So we might be just mixing up the tools today, guys. We're going to use everything we got laying around here. I used my Arbor Tech to cut all this out, right? Get the fins cut out. I used my bandsaw to rough shape them out. And from that, it's been Dremel. We cut the face in with the Dremel. I used the high-speed tool to cut his teeth in. And we're still going to have to do his eyes. So that's probably going to be a combination of high-speed and Dremel to get his eyes cut in. I did make a prototype. I always, for some reason, this is a small piece of this same wood, came out of the same board. This is what was left over. So I did make a prototype face before I went into this. I wanted to see how this cedar was going to react. That's from the that's from my Arbor Tech. And this is from the Arbor Tech. I wanted to see how this wood was going to react before I actually carved it. If it wasn't going to carve well, I mean, with the Arbor Tech, if it just started splintering out, I wasn't going to carve it in this. I probably would have got an old piece of 2x6 or something. At least I know how. See, and I would have done the same thing with that too. I would have cut a small piece, did a sample face, and then if it worked out all right, then I would have went back and carved it. But the nice thing about this guy is I can put practice eyeballs in him. Practice eyeballs. Practice. And then once we get eyeballs in this guy, these might not even be the same two eyeballs. It might be two different style eyeballs. Then we'll put them in this guy. Looks pretty fishy to me. How you like them teeth? I think they came out pretty cool. Okay, so, and he got chin too. I didn't put a beard on him because why? I didn't want to put a beard on him. Nothing says a wood spirit has got to have a beard, and nothing says a wood spirit fish has got to have a beard. No, 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 I don't want a beard. Okay, so that's where we are so far, guys. Let's get ourselves set up with our air tools and start carving this dude, all right? All right. Okay, guys, here we go. Got our high-speed air tool with our finishing bit in it. And we are going to start cutting some scales. Love this tool. Super fast. It's like drawing with a pencil. I think I'm only going to show you guys this side. And then, yeah, then I'll move over to the other side and do it off camera. Nothing like watching me scale fish. Yep. Almost. This is a good video to watch right before you go to bed if you want something to fall asleep to, because that's how fascinating putting scales is on a fish. So, beddy bad time, sleepy, sleepy. But, yeah, so first I drew the scales on. Now I'm using this high-speed air tool to trace them. And then we'll go back and do the scale overlapping with the low-speed air tool, which is also air operated. And this really don't take that long, guys. Now you can do the same thing with the Dremel, with a pointy burr. Okay, a pointy diamond burr or a pointy carbide burr, a pointy aluminum cutter burr. Your lines probably won't be as fine as they are with this. I used to do all this scaling before I got this high-speed air tool with a gouge. I'd get a gouge the size of the scale I wanted, and the gouge is U-shaped, okay? And then I'd just go through and take my little mallet thing and tap the scales, each one of them, and they're actually more precise than what I'm doing here, okay? Because they're all the same size. Because that gouge is the same size. Don't matter. With this guy, you can see the scales. Some of them are bigger, some of them are smaller. You run into that when you're going, because this fish is like round. So you run up into that a little bit. That's why I used to like using the gouge, because all your scales would be the same size. And you can make your own gouge too for this to set your pattern. You just take a piece of, get yourself a piece of tubing that is the size scale you want, and cut it in half, long ways, you know. Or just cut a section out of it, and that'll give you your half round shapes. And always grind them to a point on the outside, you know, grind the outside down like a chisel. And then just go through there and get them marked with it. Bop, bop, bop. Smack it with a hammer, and you got your scale set. But I'm doing these freehand with a high-speed air tool. Yep, so like I said, a Dremel will work too. You just have to have a good hold of it, and just use the pointiest carbide aluminum cutting bit you have, or you can do it with the pointy diamonds. It just might take a little bit longer. And get yourself a fine pumice stone so you can clean that diamond to keep the wood from building up, especially if you got any type of your wood's got a little moisture in it. You want to keep that diamond clean so it doesn't plug up on you. That's what I use, is a really fine pumice stone. And you can get them in the healthcare aisle, beauty section. And you only got to put that diamond on there for a couple seconds, and make sure you put water on your pumice stone. And you'll see the diamond will actually bite into the pumice stone, but you only want to put it on there for maybe 1, 2, 3 like that, and then take it off. Because yeah, it does declog your diamonds, but it also wears them down a little bit. So the longer you hold it on there, the more you're going to wear your diamond down. I mean, it's not much, but it's a whole lot better to wear your diamond a little bit than to actually burn. Once it gets plugged up, they'll start leaving black all over your wood. And what you're doing is you're cooking the moisture, whatever moisture was in that wood, you're cooking it right out of your the stuff that's clogging your diamond up, and then it becomes like a rock in there. So, just a little advice on how I take care of my diamonds, even for my little high-speed tool. My dentist is the one that turned me on to it. I asked him what he does with his diamonds when they get plugged up, and he's like, he pulls out this little pumice stone. He goes, I clean them on this. So there's a little excitement, a little exciting information for you. You can make your tools last, your diamond stuff last a little bit longer. I know it's helped me a lot, so pass it on to you guys. The finest grit pumice stone you can get. And yeah, like I keep mine in I've got a little one of them little butter dishes. Remember them old things that they put the things of butter in, and you put it on your table? They're like maybe 1.25 inches wide or so, and about 6 inches long. Well, I keep mine in that, and I put water in it, and the pumice stone sucks the water right up. Okay, so there's the scales, guys. Okay, so now we are going to use our low-speed air tool, and it is reversible. Okay, you see that little dial I'm turning down there? If you turn it all the way one way, it'll go counterclockwise, and if you turn it all the way the other way, it goes clockwise. Okay, not very good for the carbide burr that I have in there, because the flutes are directional on the carbide burrs, right? But if you had something like a cut saw burr in there, what just has the points, or the one that looks like a stone, or if you're using a stone, you can have that spin any way you want. So you can spin it clockwise, counterclockwise, it don't care. Okay, this slow speed tool has got torque up the wazoo. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through here, and we're just going to shape all of these scales with this. Okay, you do that by going all the way up to the front of the scale, and you want that part to be deep, and then you just feather it back to nothing at the end of the scale, just like the snake scales that we cut on our walking stick, or the ones I put on my four-armed, four-leg, four-eyed monster that I made. Same idea. You want to make them scales look like they're stacked. So you just want to cut the very front of the scale down, and then feather it back till it's even. Now on a round fish like this, you have to go down on the sides, so otherwise your scales will look like a scared cat with his hair sticking up. Your scales will all be standing way up. That's okay if you like that effect. So after I go through with this low speed tool here, I'll go back with a diamond in my Dremel to sand them. Okay, sand them off. And as I'm sanding them, the fish has a belly or goes round, I'll sand those round. And as needed, I'll go back up front and might cut them a little bit deeper. So the scale won't just be flat and then tapered back. On the side of the fish, it will. But as you get near the top and as you get near the bottom, you have to round those scales as well as cut them in on an angle. So you're making a compound curve is what you're doing, guys. Okay? Not hard to do once you get the hang of it. You'll see what I'm talking about. You'll see them, they're like sticking up. Like somebody rubbed the fish the wrong way. So I just go back and I round them and keep cutting that front down. And it's not a very big operation. Very little wood comes off of it. And it looks good when it's done. Remember I said I didn't know if I was going to be able to put that fin on there? Well, I put it on there, so. And every time you add something like a fin, you got to take off more wood. So this piece of board started off pretty thick, but as you work it down, like that fin's only sticking up 1/16 of an inch, right? But you have to cut all the surrounding wood down 1/16 of an inch, so it becomes a bigger project than you think it would be, because that fin actually sticks up a little bit. But I had to still take all the wood down around it, otherwise it'd get lost in the scales. It just end up looking like a big potato chip scale sitting there. And we still have to come back on this guy, and all of his fins have to have the fluting put into them. But I think that will be another video, because this video here is running a little long anyway. I think we're closer to like 30 minutes instead of the 15 or 20. So I guess I could have broke it into two videos, two 15-minute videos. But Jordy was yelling at me. I got no videos to watch before I go to work, Just Carve Rob. When are you going to post some new videos? So here you go, Jordy. These are just for you, buddy. And all you other guys that like watching my carving videos. I appreciate you watching. Appreciate all you guys for subscribing. And keep watching. Now you see why I'm only going to show you one side of the fish. But yeah, you just keep start in the front and then work your way to the back. Right where the scale comes to a point up front. You can see them little U's in there. Those little scale U's. In between the scale U's, you see that little point? That's where we start at. That would be the front of the scale, and then so you cut that a little bit deep. And then feather it back. You can see I'm feathering them back right there. See right there? That's the tip of the point. That's or the scale. That's where you want to start at. Right there. See that? Right there. Right there. Yep. See how I'm doing that? Going up front in between the scales, and then going down the hair, and then feathering it back. Right. You can see how I'm working that, right? Right up into the point and then out. Right there. See? Right there. Yep. Just like that. You go right up into that point and then feather back. Right up into the point and feather back. And that'll give you your scales to look like they're stacked on top of each other. Or I've seen guys, they just they don't even carve them. They just draw them on and then go through wood with a wood burner. and burn them in. So you could do that too. I guess it all depends on how much depth you want to give your carving. I did a handle on a walking stick where the scales were only, I want to say, just about 1/4 of an inch wide, and the handle was 11 inches long. Okay, and it was an inch and 1/8 round. Took me 3 days to carve them in. Oh yeah, there was like 3,700 scales on that thing. I think what the count was, either 3,700 or 3,900. It's right in there. That's lots of freaking scales, guys. 3 days to carve them in. And I'm not talking 15 minutes a day. I'm talking like 6 hours. After 6 hours, they all start looking the same. You start getting tunnel vision or something. Your focus of your eyeballs start going crazy because you're staring at them and you're cutting them. Yeah. Fun times, fun times. So these scales are a lot bigger. These scales are, some are 3/8 wide. You know, they're pretty good sized scales. And I made them that big because I didn't want to spend 3 days carving them onto a wood fish, spirit fish. But this, I don't know, he's been fun. Next thing we'll do on him is his eyeballs, I think, and that little prototype thing I showed you earlier. That's where I'll start cutting the eyes in. So I may video that for you guys. That I am bad at eyes, okay? That's why every chance I get them, I try doing them, because I'm not that good at eyeballs. And the more you can do it, the better you're going to get. And I've, just in the last couple of months, I've come a long ways with my eyes. They don't look like they came off from some kind of a boxer that had his face beat up. The big black and blue puffy eyeballs. Although we might give this guy some really crazy eyes. I've got to do a little research on it. So I don't know if we'll get to the eye video today, but we got this one going for sure. And that's all you got to do, is just up in the point and back. You can see those scales are really starting to stand out now. So that's going to wrap this one up for us, guys. And I want to just say thanks for watching. Thanks for being part of the channel. And thanks for supporting the channel. And all this is for you guys. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be doing YouTube videos. So thank you, and thanks for watching. Share, subscribe, like, hit that bell if you want notification for when the next video is coming out. Be awesome. Carve something awesome, guys. Stay healthy. And this is Just Carve Rob saying just carve, and we will catch you guys on the next one. All right? Bye. Fishy! See the scales? You can see them, how they're standing up a little bit. Not much. Now I'm going to do the other side off camera. Bye. Bye.